Okay, so there are more and more open houses being posted every week, and I've been putting them on the PolyLearn site. So check out the open houses. I would encourage you to check out the flyers, even if it's a program you wouldn't initially think you would want to go to, because as I look at some of the flyers, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I didn't know that they offered this or that. Like, I think I just got one from, it was the last one I added, but it was like University of Kentucky or something, and they have like a master's in exercise and nutrition physiology as well. And usually when I think of exercise, I think of Oregon or Washington as some of the bigger places. So check those out, and especially if they have a digital or a virtual open house, those could be good to go to just to see what they're talking about, see what questions other people ask. I'd encourage you guys to go. I found my application, well, not exactly my application, but some of my support documents from when I applied back in the day in Dr. Grant's files. And it's, to me, I read them over, they're kind of funny. I don't think I did a very good job of writing some of this stuff. I answered all the questions, but I didn't do it in a personal statement. I did kind of like short-term goals, long-term goals, strengths and weaknesses, why I want to be an RD, and then why Cal Poly is a good match for me. I went to Cal Poly, if you didn't know. It's the only program I applied to, which is not recommended. But I had a pretty competitive application, especially from my graduate side of things. My undergrad was medium competitive, but as a grad student, I did better and I had more experience, etc. So it's not very well written at all. But this is what I said, why I want to be an RD. I want to be an RD so that when I am conveying nutrition informations to clients in the future, my education and experience in the field will be supported by a credential. There are a lot of sources of nutrition, in quotes, information available to the general public, but the validity and reliability of the information is often questionable. It is scary that almost anyone can claim to be a nutritionist and offer diet or health information. I think the RD program is an important certification program which will back up my education and separate me from the everyday nutritionist. When I give clients information, I want them to be able to trust that it is reliable and current. I also want the experience the RD program has to offer in real life settings. I can't wait to be in the hospital. That was a total lie. And work with real patients. I hated hospitals. I can't wait to do diet plans and food ordering. I think that experience is the most valuable kind of education available, and an opportunity to go through the RD internship would be invaluable. Many jobs are limited to RDs, such as working in hospitals or some community programs. I don't want my job opportunities to be limited because I don't have an RD. Becoming an RD should help me to obtain the positions I want to work in and will give me a sense of belonging within the nutrition community. I also want to be an RD because I think it is the best way I can utilize my education to help others. And that's all I said. I don't think it was very good, but, and then I had a part about why I was a good match for Cal Poly, and that was much longer. Much longer. But I talked about like the learn by doing philosophy that I had already seen in the teachers. I talked about some of my local experience. And then the last thing I talked about, which I don't know if it was good or bad, but I talked about what I could bring to the internship instead of what the internship could bring to me. So I talked about how San Luis is often not the most diverse environment. And I talked about some of the diverse experiences that I'd had through travel and work and family, and that I would like to share that with other interns. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. But I had, reading over this, I had multiple spelling errors, just grammar errors, things like that. For my long-term goals, I said, after I complete the internship, I want to take the exam, become an RD. After that, I want to specialize in community nutrition with an emphasis on children's nutrition, nutrition intervention, and community health. I've considered many possible careers which correlate with my focus. I'm strongly considering becoming a school lunch program director. I've been recently working as a substitute cafeteria worker and am amazed at the food that is served and consumed. I feel like this is a key area where nutrition interventions could be very effective. Another long-term goal I have is to teach nutrition. I actually can't remember that that was my long-term goal. And I read this, so I was like, oh. For a career, I'm interested in teaching nutrition at the community college or high school level. I also want to teach nutrition at elementary school, but this would be on a volunteer basis. My goal is to become involved with programs such as John Baju's Healthy Kids program, which facilitate nutrition in the classrooms, possibly develop new programs. I'm also interested in working at Head Start. Then my third goal, which I continue to fail at, is to learn Spanish, and I talk about that. And then my fourth goal was pretty good. That could be a good one for you guys maybe. I said another long-term goal of mine is to become an active member of the American Dietetic Association. I'm currently a student member, but I want to become more involved. I would like to attend conferences, be involved in research, and stay up to date in nutrition. So yeah, it's a little bittersweet finding these things in the archives from long, long ago. But hopefully you guys have started working on your personal statements that are due next Friday, at least getting some thoughts down on paper, why you want to be an RD, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, etc. This week, I hope will be brief-ish, but we're going to talk about e-portfolios because e-portfolios is another assignment coming up. And it's something that I think can really help your application and enhance your resume. When students have sent me requests to write them letters of recommendation for those who already have their e-portfolios done, it's probably the thing that I find most enjoyable to look at and like learn about them. Because it's pictures and it's videos and it's creative and it's not just a black and white resume on paper. This is my old resume. So yeah, e-portfolios. You guys know that tech is not my strength, and e-portfolios are kind of along the line of high tech, in my opinion. But I've been experimenting with them online, so I'll do my best to guide you. Kind of what it should be is it should be continuous, which means you shouldn't just build it in this class, but you should continue to add through it over time. Even when you go out to dietetic internship, if you guys take a gap year, maybe what are you doing in your gap year? Does any of that relate to nutrition or leadership or growth? Once you become dietitians, you can add stuff to it. And it's kind of this really like timeline of like where you started and what you're doing now. It should support reflection. So how you've grown, you know, what you've learned, what you found was most valuable to you guys during your education, how you've used what you learned, or maybe like concepts that you learned in class, and then pictures of how you applied those. Like I really didn't understand the importance of, I don't know, menu modification until I was working with these patients, or until I had to prepare a banquet for 89 people and modify recipes, you know, and this is a picture of me preparing those foods at that banquet. Things like that. I think the portfolio can be a really good opportunity to display Cal Poly's learn by doing philosophy, because although it's something that's pretty normal to us and you guys are hopefully doing in a lot of your classes, that's not the same philosophy at all universities. Some universities are more learn by reading, learn by writing, learn by testing, you know, versus learn by actually doing. But you guys have had lots of experiences where you're out in the community, where you're in the classroom, where you're maybe preparing foods for food day, or working with CalFresh, or using the metabolic cart, or all your different experiences that are actually doing that will help you in the future and demonstrate the learning. Because you'll probably, when you leave here, you're going to remember the things you did versus the papers that you turned in, or the essays that you wrote, or the tests that you took. You're going to remember the fun experiences in class. So this is a good place where you can put that kind of stuff. Some steps, choosing your mission. So for those who want to go to DI or grad school or employment, that's what it should be targeted to. if you want to go to grad school, what does that grad school require? You know, what do they look for? How have you showed that you would be a good grad student? Have you done any research projects? Maybe a copy of your unofficial transcripts, you know, something like that. Employment is going to be more focused for kind of like a resume or a curriculum vitae with more lengthy descriptions of what you've done. And then for the DI, what have you done in each of the areas of nutrition to prepare you for a DI internship? You know, what have you done in community nutrition? What have you learned in community nutrition? What have you done in food service or food service management? What have you done in clinical nutrition? And really kind of giving examples of all of that stuff. And what do you want to do in the future? You know, why do you think a DI is the right thing for you? It should be creative. It's like the opposite of your resume. I think resumes are better when they're not as creative and just kind of, you know, starchy and to the point. But your portfolio can be where you really express yourself and where you really stand out. I've practiced using some of these things, actually not Prezi, but I know some of you guys have used Prezi before. I have not used Prezi, but I've used WordPress, I've used About Me, I've used Weebly. This is one I was trying to make in About Me, and with About Me, it was free to do it. When I tried to do mine in Weebly, it appears that I have to pay $6 a month to get a domain, which isn't that bad, you know, in retrospect. If you're using this to get yourself into a future career or future grad school, $6 is not much. But there might be a way to do it free. I just couldn't figure it out with the time I had done yet. So, and I'll say it will take a little bit of fiddling with, at least if you're me. Because you know that this is not my strength. So I started with a template, and you can choose different templates. So if I go out of this on Weebly, let's see, I want to just do this, design a website. Oh, it's going to take me back here. Well, within the websites, you can look at themes. And if I hit change theme, it's going to take you to the initial place where I chose my theme. And so there's business, portfolio, personal, event, blog, and other. I would probably do portfolio or personal. Somehow, originally, I picked one that was like for a restaurant. So I picked this one because it was the only one that had a food picture. And I was like, I didn't do this one. But when I first got into it, the tabs were things like menu, local, you know, reserve a seat, catering. And it took me a while to figure out how to change the captions on those tabs. But I did figure it out. But you might want to do one that's more set up to talk about you. So this is mine with that restaurant tab. Here's my home page. And I started to change these little tabs. This used to say like menu, reservations, etc. I think, how did I even do that? I think from the build page, you can go to title and you can change different things, but you guys can fiddle around with this. I put a picture of me. I really haven't done that much to it. But I'm planning in theory to do like my education. Right now it's got these recipes. But I think I could change this to a picture of, you know, me doing different things, maybe my certificates, etc. So you can kind of fiddle around with it and do whatever you want, and then you could publish it. I have some good examples that I'll show you of previous students who have made theirs. This is a student's, this one is not my favorite one, but it's okay. So she's got, oh, you guys can't see it. You guys have to tell me when you can't see it. She's got she's got some stuff. So this is hers. There it is, Maria Pitarelli, Dietetics and Nutrition Professional Portfolio. And some of hers is not that developed yet, but she's got homepage, she's got about, contact, events, resume, work samples. Pretty sure when I clicked on work samples, there was not much. The dietetic internship one is pretty cool. And so within this, you can click on the different tabs and it should take you back there. It didn't though. Oh, here we go. Yeah, earlier I was like, I was watching a cool video in her thing. So this is a little bit about her. Currently she's a dietetic intern. And then she had this video here, which the music is a little much, but the video is kind of cool. And so it's all pictures of her in her internship doing things. You could do a similar video of you just in college doing things, or you through your job, or you with your volunteer experience, you know, you at Garden House. I didn't watch her whole video. It's like 20 minutes long, but if you wanted to get an idea of like what her internship is like, this would probably give you a pretty thorough idea of what she's doing. And the different places she went. But I thought it was creative, you know, it's a little creative way to learn more about her. You guys, and I would say too, you can't always take pictures in hospitals, but if you guys are still in some of the food service production classes, maybe take some photos. If you guys are volunteering, take some photos. If you guys are in a hospital, but you're in the kitchen where there's no patient information, take some photos, you know? Because this is going to really help us get to know better about you. Okay, that's really long. See, we barely watched any of it. She also has her Twitter handle, which I think is a cute handle, but you have to make sure that you're posting stuff that's appropriate. So now she's kind of whining about her Fitbit. I probably wouldn't have done that on my portfolio. But so if your Twitter feeds to your portfolio, just make sure that it's like a professional kind of tweet. But anyways, that was one example. And then I've got a few more examples. So actually, I think I can go, let's see. This is another student's example. It's just about finding them and moving this thing over. Okay, I really like this one. Yeah, so this is, let's do menu about me. This is Leah Hackney, RD, LD. LD is licensed dietitian. I can't remember what state she's in, but wherever she is, she has to be licensed. And then you click on her portfolio. And I really like this because she does Cal Poly work, Texas A&M internship, Malawi, and then the hospital. So this is a really good example of one that's like continuous of like what she's done. And in her Cal Poly stuff, did it take us there? Is it taking us there? Take us to Cal Poly. Okay, so Cal Poly photo gallery, she's got from the hospital. And what I like is what she's written here about what she's learned, you know. At this job, I learned the importance of food safety, customer service, and develop a deeper understanding of clinical nutrition diets. In a fast-paced hospital setting, it's essential to have a good memory, be patient and flexible with the patients you work with. Being a diet aide gave me an endless food service experience and helps me understand a deeper reasoning for why I would like to be a dietitian. So I like all the things that she's written on each of these. She was a Pulse peer counselor. So through Pulse, I learned to practice counseling skills, develop presentations to give and deliver to information to peers, speak in front of large groups, and promote healthy habits. So this is kind of like the theory to practice stuff, like her experience, what she learned in class, and how it applies to her. Diabetes camp. I know some of you guys have been to Bearskin Meadow. So all of the things she learned at Bearskin Meadow, you know, that was really good. her counselor's checking blood sugar. And then she has at the farm, she worked on an organic farm. She goes Friday mornings and helps. She's talking about the carbon footprint. And then she's got these galleries down here of all the different things she's done. So I really liked that. And then also here, she's got other Cal Poly group projects. And she's got 2 videos she made. So this blog was a group project for food service class at Cal Poly where we took a basic recipe at home and upscaled it to feed 45 people. A member of my group developed the foundation while I provided pictures and educational material. We learned as a group to upscale the recipe and learn basic food preparation. And then this is a video talking about the mixer, really exciting, you know, but still it's stuff she's done. And it's something for somebody to look at, you know, besides just her resume. She went to Malawi and then kind of what she's doing now at the Children's Hospital, which is really cool. So I really like hers. There's a lot of really good ones. What I would say, so what to put in there or what not to put in there. We kind of do this. Yeah, so tips, keeping it professional. The background, I mean, I think the background should be simple with maybe like one color for font, one, what's that name of the font? One font, like not different fonts, not like Times and Arial and Calibri, just one style of font. I like the drop-down menus that make it easy to navigate. I think that's important to make it easy to navigate. Checking the spelling. I had multiple errors on my spelling for my internship, but check the spelling. Dietitian is spelled with a T, although some places you'll find it with a C. So it's not uncommon to find it with a C, and you can Google with a C and get all sorts of things about dietitians, but it's actually spelled with a T according to the academy. So just little things like that, that spell check. So spell check won't find that. Little things like that. Exceptional writing, things that you could put. You could put work to display. So maybe your senior project. If you choose to put a writing sample up there, don't put the entire thing. Maybe put like the first couple pages, because we don't want anybody to copy it and plagiarize it. But you could put the first couple pages and then put for entire document, like, please contact me, or for full report, please contact me. You could put your thesis if you're a master's student. Maybe you want to put like your grant proposal, you know, grant writing example. I never had to write a grant in college, so I couldn't write a grant. But I think being able to write a grant is a pretty big skill that people might be interested in. Creativity, you know, what have you done in class that's creative that makes you stand out from other students? You could put an A-dime up there if you've written a really good A-dime that is a good example of your ability to think critically and analyze patients. You could do a recipe you made. You could do a pictures of you, like food day, you working for CalFresh, you in the nutrition club. I know people have been the researchers for the nutrition club, so maybe presentation they've made. Dr. Grant suggested that you could put your drawing for metabolism, but I know with Dr. Lafrano, you don't have to make your drawings from scratch. He gives you like those worksheets. But when I was in metabolism with Dr. Reeves, we had to draw like the entire like Krebs cycle, electron transport chain with all of the like carbons and all the enzymes, the cofactors, and I had it as this like big poster like up on my wall. But anything you think that would just help learn more about you. Things that have exemplified problem solving. So I think about A-dimes with problem solving, but that's my specialty. Dr. Grant would probably think about like maybe costing worksheets or food service plans. Failures, I would only put something that exemplifies failure if it's kind of like, look at me then, here I am now. Like maybe you in 121 versus you in 344 or 426, you know, where your food service knowledge has grown that much. you know? That's the only type of failure I would put if it's like, look how I've grown kind of a failure versus I'm just failing. That would not be good to put on your portfolio. But these were her slides. Professional growth and development. This is Orly's portfolio, and hers is another really good example. So let's see if I can find hers. It's hard because I've got this Zoom stuff up here and I have to move the menu. So I thought I had all mine open, but maybe I didn't, and I'm gonna have to open Orly's. Has anybody made a portfolio yet?
Food service.
You guys all made it. Have you updated it? Okay. So in that case, you guys should all update yours. Probably keep some of the stuff you had there, but what else have you done since then? That's what I would update it with. And I'm very thankful you guys already made it because you probably already know how, you know. This is Orly's. She is in a dietetic internship right now in San Francisco. So she's doing really well. She got in, I'm pretty sure she got into one of the paid programs there. I love just her intro picture because it's such a cool experience, you know, that's outside of the classroom. She talks a little bit about her. So what sparked her interest in nutrition? Her sister had cancer. So there's a picture of her sister. A little bit that's not nutrition related. I like that too, you know, because it just gives you a glimpse of this person as a person versus this person as a nutrition student, you know. Things she likes to do for fun. She likes drawing. She likes hiking. And then work experience. She's had lots of work experience. I like what she did here with kind of the emblems of the places she's worked. And some of them have hyperlinks so that you could click on them and like go to the garden house page, gymnazo, piano teacher. She was an officer in the Israeli Defense Forces, which is really cool. You know, but these are things that set her apart from other people. Her education, Cal Poly. I like that she put the Cal Poly emblem there. Now we have the new emblem. Yeah, I know it's not as cool. I don't think it's as cool, but whatever. She was part of the nutrition club. Some of the courses she did. It's a really funny picture. It's probably how she felt as she was doing the courses. Meaningful assignments and projects. So she's got diet analysis project, micronutrient analysis for maternal and child nutrition. That's a pretty good one. Survey of biochemistry, science in the news writing assignment. And so what she did and what she learned. Nutrition and aging paper. FSN, I don't know what this is. Lab Isha stuff. Nutrition education, what she did. Recipe standardization. Original and doubled recipes. Cinnamon streusel coffee cake. She's got all sorts of really good stuff there. So this just shows so much more about her than the recipe. This was cool, the prepping the food for the open house. It's only a minute long, but it's like a time lapse of them getting all the food ready for sampling at open house. And that shows like our learn by doing stuff too, you know? So I think anything that you guys have done or can help, you should add. This actually gets a little crazy, but research experience, strawberry study. So if you guys have worked with any of the teachers, she's just got a lot. And I think also when they're well done, it really shows that you care, you know, it shows like she spent a lot of time doing this and she probably, it really is valuable to her what she presents to people, you know, she has, you can tell she has like good attention to detail, you know. I like these awards. whoa. Oh, I thought that was she got $50,000. But anyways, I like the pictures of the awards versus just like that you are on the dean's list. You know, it's kind of cool to like see the actual awards. And then volunteer experience, where she's been. She had a lot of experience, as you can tell. But anyways, those are just some good examples of them. And what else did I say? Storyboarding. Did you guys learn this in 321? Storyboarding? No. So there's kind of like two strategies of how you can go about planning your portfolio, which since most of you guys have already planned your portfolio, it may or may not be pertinent if you've already started your portfolio. But you can think about what kind of story you want to tell, and hopefully it's the story of you as an emerging nutrition professional, and think of how you got to that point, what you've learned along the way, you know, and kind of map it out so that you don't forget anything. You know, what's the beginning of a story? What's the body of the story? What's the conclusion of the story? You could even have a little tab for goals and aspirations. And you could say something like, I hope to get into a dietetic internship. In the future, I would like to specialize in pediatrics or potentially pursue my master's degree. So you could have kind of like, what's the end of your story? You know, where do you hope this story is going? Anything else I would add to this? Yeah. Other things, it can help you do kind of workflow for the project. So this could be kind of like your main menu, and then maybe you have like education, experience, volunteering, sample work, and then a little something extra, you know, like what's your personality, you know? So we'll help you kind of clump together where you want to put everything and make it nice and organized. And then flowcharts are also a good way to potentially make your portfolio. So you've got credibility, community service, university experience. And then in university, you could do something like this: courses taken, transcript, awards, or you could do something like clinical experience at the university, community experience, food service experience, and projects you've done. So it's really what you guys want to make of it. But I think when they're well done, they can really add to your resume and add to your application. Most places don't require them, but most directors, especially if you're kind of in their top percentile as far as getting ranked go, will click on them. And they can be really nice, you know, to see. It also gives a face to the name, which if you were to have been to their open house or been to a virtual open house or maybe toured the campus or something, they can be like, oh, I remember that person, you know, they came to my open house, or I saw them on Skype at my open house, or I remember that name. So I think that can help too. So that is all I've got. But you guys have to do something for class participation. So, and then you guys can ask some questions or do whatever you want. What was I thinking for class participation today? Why don't you write 2 items that you will put on your portfolio. They could be like a picture, a project, a movie, or whatever, that are not already there. So you guys already made them. So if you guys write some food service thing from 321, I'll be like, that doesn't count. So why don't you write 2 items that are not already there?
It's just all messed up.
Yeah.
So let's just say we like to pictures of ourselves.
Yeah.
We recommend taking pictures.
That's a good question. So I know Dr. Grant would say if you're going to go to an interview or if you're going to go to an open house to cover them up.
Okay.
I also have tattoos though. And I think it's fine for the pictures of who you are, because it is who you are, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put yourself like in a bikini or anything on your portfolio.
Some graduation pictures.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's totally fine. Yeah, but she would say if you do go to like a thing, maybe like wear long sleeves or like I don't even know how could you wear a collared shirt? That might look super lame. Wear a turtleneck. That's what Dr. Grant would say. I mean, and I think depending on where you apply and where you interview, there's different cultures all over the United States, and some are much more accepting, and probably a younger preceptor is much more accepting. You know, I mean, San Francisco, like, you know, like San Diego, like I feel like California is kind of like it's normal, where other more conservative states might be like, might be like cover that up.
It's kind of hard to avoid this, so I don't really.
Or you just wear long sleeves, or like. Plus, it's like pretty. I mean, it's flowers. It's pretty. It's not like it's not like a skull or like you know, like
a naked woman.
Yeah. I mean, it's very like feminine, you know. So it's like it's a little different. If you guys want to ask questions, you guys can, and if you guys want to just turn the